and I've said this before, Don has the ability of, I see the future there. I don't know if I could point to anyone that's doing that in a live stream format.
And then you're going to save the money. You're going to learn an extremely valuable skill. And then
I don't think people have that expectation. I think people are lazy and they just want to know everything well right away.
Yes.
And if you spend 20 hours learning.
Ruslan.
I had a great time in Dallas hanging out with young Don.
Nice.
And let me just say, we're not going to, this isn't necessarily about theology.
Okay.
You got this real weird look on your face, like, what's he gonna
I'm
say?
excited.
Nothing negative to say about Don.
Boo. Just kidding.
What?
I love Don.
This man.
No,
But man, let me tell you guys this. So the theme on Master YouTube Live is obviously getting people to master YouTube Live in a live stream podcast formatting.
Yeah.
That is how my channel exploded. That is how my channel blew up. That is the system that we teach to get people creating more, publishing more, streaming more, anchored on their expertise.
Yeah.
Hanging with Don, who people don't know this, his main channel that he doesn't upload anymore is one of the biggest black creator YouTube accounts out there.
Wow.
Bigger than Abba and Preach, bigger than Fresh and Fit, bigger than, I don't know any other black creators. That's an L for me. Bigger than Belief in Fatherhood, right? I'm trying to think who else I watch. But yeah, 2.4 million.
Marquez Brownlee.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
I mean, that dude's
10 million.
caking.
10 million, right? So 2.4 million subscribers. And here is the thing about Don that is extremely fascinating. And I've said this before. Don has the ability of multidisciplinary execution. So picking up multiple things, mastering them, moving on to the next thing, mastering that, moving on to the next thing, mastering that, right? And we've talked about this on the channel, but seeing it when he was on the podcast, which you guys should go back and watch, but seeing it up close,
Yeah.
and seeing him, one, problem solve technical things, real simple. Because keep in mind, most creators aren't also running the tech side.
Yes.
Most creators have a tech team. Your favorite, especially like your favorite conservative creators, your favorite biggest podcast.
Oh, yeah,
There's someone behind the cameras.
Yes.
Something as simple as I brought my own in-ears. The cable wasn't long enough. He didn't have an extension cable. This wasn't going to reach. He was able to go to the other room, grab a box that was like a multi-headphone thing, and we were able to plug it in like while the stream is about to start. Like little things like that most creators aren't able to do.
Yeah.
So he's so immersed in the minutia of the tech side and in the execution side,
Yeah.
which is why his channel is exploding, which is why he's an incredible creator. You know what I mean? And I think people don't quite track what that requires for somebody to be both.
Yeah.
To be both. Unless you go make $1 million and then go pay somebody $40,000 a year to do all your social media, which is what Alex Hormozi made way more than that, and Ryan Panita, all those guys. But I think the ability to do that, then it was seeing him, he doesn't like do thumbnails for his live streams. It's the same generic thumbnail. So it's interesting to see him cut that corner. Then seeing him just jump in and make the stream a show. There's a theatrical music. He's talking.
He talks before it even gets off the countdown timer.
Yes, before
he's
he's
like,
on
"Are you
screen."
ready?"
Yeah, before he's on screen.
Yeah, he's got it.
The attention to detail to the sound effects, which is a whole nother conversation. And I want to actually hear from you guys. Like, how do you guys feel about sound effects? I like sound effects. I think it make them really interesting.
I love sound effects, and I put out a video this past week where I was just too trigger happy, and people were calling me out for it.
Were they?
Yeah, I got like 3 comments, and I'm like, "Hey, fair. Thank you for watching, though."
Yeah. People get very triggered by the sound effects. I think they
Really?
want to listen to a pod, but they like, and then you hit them with a sound effect. If the levels aren't right, you know what I mean?
If the levels aren't right, if you're doing it too much,
Yeah.
if it's like he's really good at his timing.
His
and so
timing.
he'll hit something, and it's part of the joke.
Yeah.
It's part of what he says. It's
Yes.
not like it's not obnoxious.
Yeah. His timing
My timing's bad.
is impeccable.
Yes.
His timing is impeccable. His instincts are impeccable.
Yeah.
His humor is
Yeah.
great. So I don't think you find someone that is proficient at basketball at an elite level,
Yeah.
right? Then becomes proficient as an animator and a storyteller, both. Then becomes proficient at podcasting, music, and live streaming.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's so rare.
Yeah.
The one thing that I did find interesting is that he doesn't do multi-camera setups.
Yeah.
Because he's probably so locked. Like here on my stream deck, I'm cutting between my camera, I'm cutting between Zach's camera.
That takes up space.
That takes up space, but it also it's space in its head right? To think of that. So I think there's something there, but I think that would be the only thing I would improve on is like the format of how he does his live streams packaged with simple cuts to make it so we're not sitting shoulder to shoulder and it feels more conversational.
Yeah, and I did notice that. And even
that's a streamer thing. That's how they all do it. Sneeko, all those guys kind of do it that way.
Sit shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like there's a guerrilla filmmaker type of vibe to it that they have.
Yes.
And I do notice that with even his long streams is that he's a box in the corner.
Yep.
And when they re-edit, they just zoom into the box in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And so the technical side, the execution of the stream, the entertainment value of the stream, and just being able to have conversations. And then and they're not even like going super hard on chopping stuff down because he just kind of just streams for 5 hours a day. And, so it's a different thing. So I say all that to say, I think there is an opportunity with the Master YouTube Live model to create a hybrid, which is what I'm attempting to do. It's a hybrid of a live stream. We're interacting with the super chats. We're interacting with the chat. We're talking. And then we're also combining the experience. Like we're combining the podcasting feel with a live streaming experience while acknowledging the chat. And I really think that's the next wave. I know we talked about that.
And acknowledging that this video is going to be clipped. It's going to be
acknowledging
clipped.
this video.
So producing it at a high level where we know we have different camera angles, we have different shots, and then we stay on a topic, and then we don't bounce from that until that topic's done, and then we engage with the chat.
Yes,
interesting.
Correct. Yeah, and so anyway, I see the future there. I don't know if I could point to anyone that's doing that in a live stream format with sound effects and multiple topics.
Yeah.
It's usually all podcasts, and a lot of times those aren't live, or it's all live streaming, and they get clipped into videos, but it feels like a live stream. There's a chat on the screen. You know what I mean? Like it's not as crisp as like a live podcast that's doing topics. Hey, check this out. You want to know the main reason new creators fail on YouTube? They don't know who they're creating videos for, and they don't have any purpose behind their videos. This turns the whole process of shooting videos into a tedious chore that will eventually lead to burnout. And trust me when I tell you, I have been there. If you want to discover exactly what type of videos you should make that will increase your chances of success on YouTube and help you avoid burnout, sign up below for my free Master My Niche training. This training will walk you through a custom system that will help you get clarity on the niche of your channel and help you make videos that you should be creating. I'll see you over at mastermyniche.com.
Daily Wire has a prepared show where they'll release the hour show every day, and then they'll chop the clips, but it's still not live. It still doesn't have any of those other
interactions.
Elements. Yes,
and all that
exactly.
Kind of stuff. And they probably do that for time's sake. Because if you're doing a live 1 hour show, if you got a chat and you care to acknowledge super chats and the chat at all, that's instantly turning into 2 hours easy.
Yeah, and then not to mention, like if you're doing pre-recorded, you can schedule stuff ahead of time. Like kind of just get it. You can move about your life, right? But you're missing that connection with the audience.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure about this, but I do feel like YouTube prioritizes live streams right now in the algorithm.
I did hear that this one creator I was following, he's like, I don't like doing these shorts, but it seems like on YouTube, if you're not doing shorts and you're not live streaming, that you're not being promoted. I was like, it's very interesting. Because I do feel like, there's, I don't know. It's nice that you can kind of do either or. It seems like. Obviously, you should do both. But it's cool that it's not all just short form. It's also like, if you want to do a really long live stream, that can get booming too.
Yep. That's good. So that's kind of what I learned from Don. I don't really know anybody that's a better streamer than him. I also don't sit around watching live streams all day. But just like if I'm comparing him to his contemporaries, Sneeko, Aiden Ross, like it's just not that interesting. You know what I mean? They're not as interesting as he is, which is why I think he's able to go hard Bible study live stream and it still be interesting. And we talked about that as well. Like his ability to just be entertaining is amazing.
Yeah. What do you think? How duplicatable do you think that is? Do you think it's a natural talent that young Don has, or do you think there's something that that the audience can learn? I guess if they're I want to stream like Don.
20 hours of commitment, focus for a skill. You got to be in a headspace where like, okay, this is going to be hard, but I'm going to try to learn everything I can about audio and video today.
Yes.
Because people freak out about audio and video. It's like, bro, they're freaking cables.
Yes.
Like out of the camera into the video switcher. Out of the microphone.
Yep.
Into the stream, into the soundboard.
That's
right?
true. But
it's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science, but you have to remember that you have a lot of years under the belt. So if someone that has no comprehension of a video camera, they don't know. A lot of people don't even know how HDMI works.
Yeah.
They're like, what cable do I need to get the Apple TV to the actual TV?
Yeah.
You know, like they don't know we know, HDMI that transmits an image.
Yeah.
So, and and there's levels to the thing, but I think your point, 20 hours of work, it's like the 20 hours of learning, like you can learn something in a week.
Yeah.
In your free time.
20 hours of deliberate learning with the expectation, this is going to be hard.
Yes.
If you want to understand how this works, it's hard. I haven't squatted in months because I injured my knee back in April. I had knee surgery in September. I'm just now rehabbing. I'm just going to get back to strength training. I know that when I go in and I try to squat for the first time, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
That expectation is going to make the barrier of going through that process substantially easier than just assuming I could walk in the gym tomorrow and be like, I'm just going to get back to what I was doing. No, I'm not. It's going to suck. Matter of fact, I did rehab once, and the time I did rehab, just squatting with like tens.
Yeah.
I was sore the next day and it was hard.
Yep.
I don't think people have that expectation. I think people are lazy and they just want to know everything well right away.
Yes.
And if you spend 20 hours learning, it's going to take me some time to figure out how to do Stream Deck with the video switcher so I can control my video switcher with the Stream Deck, considering you even need a different position for it.
Yep.
And all that stuff. You remember when I was sitting there frustrated trying to figure all that out and the Ethernet and all that, right? That took me about a day or two.
Yeah.
And I was very frustrated, but I got through it. Yep. And now I can do something that most people don't know how to do, which is control our cameras through the Stream Deck, through a separate software.
Yep.
It's the mentality of being willing to learn new things and knowing that, like, 20 hours. If I could spend 20 hours learning this said thing, I'm good.
Yeah, I got a comment on one of my recent videos that was like, "Hey Zach, how do I go about hiring an editor to get intros like yours?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "So you could go to Fiverr, or you could just take the week that it's going to take to learn the very basics of editing, like my intros are. They're not intense.
Yeah.
And learn a software. You can start in iMovie and then move up to Final Cut Pro. You can edit in Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve if it's completely free."
Yep.
I was like, and then instead, I was like, one, and then you're gonna save the money. You're gonna learn an extremely valuable skill, and then 2, 3, you can also be the person that gets paid versus being the person that's paying somebody else.
Yes.
I was like, and then you're just self-sufficient.
Yep.
But it's that I was thinking about it when I was typing it out. I was like, it really is a week.
Yeah.
Like I actually I don't even want to do like those types of videos, but I would love to do a video that is just like, this is the one skill you need in Final Cut Pro to like start making YouTube videos. And I'm like, there's got to be maybe like 1 or 2 things. People overcomplicate it. I don't want to learn an entire situation. Like to live stream, you don't have to learn how to be a cinematographer. You don't have to learn like all the ins and outs of a camera. You just have to know. You just have to be willing to be able to set it and forget it.
Bro, a camera is 3 variables.
Yes.
F-stop, shutter, ISO.
Yep.
Figure that out,
That's
and you
it.
can figure out how to use any DSLR.
And that's what I'm saying is that like, well, and then we'll throw in white balance there. But
screw white balance. I don't care. I just throw it on auto white balance, and then
none of our stuff is on auto white balance.
I know. I said initially that's what
yeah.
I did, and I was still getting compliments of how amazing my stream looked.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Some people are like, oh, it doesn't matter, and then like their stream is completely yellow.
Yeah.
You know, they don't set it to auto.
Okay,
But
4 things.
4 things.
Four
But
things, and you can learn how to use any DSLR.
Yes. And that's the thing is that like people overcomplicate it. I don't know all the ins and outs. It's like it's literally just those 3 or 4 things, and then you set it, and you never have to touch it ever again. You don't even have to fully understand what it is. You just follow the tutorial where they say put it at this number, and then you're good. You're like, oh, cool.
That's it. 20 hours. 20 hours. You learn enough things. 20 hours, and they become these locks. They become these. What's the metaphor? It's a chain. Locks in a chain. You learn enough things. You learn enough locks in a chain, and then you can do incredible things. And then people just think it's magic.
Yeah,
it's wow, you guys, it's magic.
It's
what you
crazy
do.
what
It's
you're
not
doing,
magic, bro. It's just a bunch of skills combined together to be able to execute and do a whole lot with a whole little.
Yep.
And you don't need a team of however many people, you think you need it. Like, you don't.
I mean, and this whole studio too is problem solving.
Yes.
This whole studio wasn't like people walk in here and think that we had every vision planned out and said, let's mount everything this way. When in reality, it was like, it started with you and a ring light. And then by the time I got here, there was a really solid set with this computer. And then when we, even just with this set, it was like, you were like, I don't like that there's no distance between you and the curtain. So you added blue lights. Then we're like, okay, let's add this hair light because it'll double as a hair light. And then we also want a third angle. But these decisions are weeks apart.
Yep.
But it's like, what do you need to get off the ground and then run?
Yep. Hey, this clip is from our daily after party stream. If you enjoyed it, consider signing up for our Patreon community for only $5 a month, where you get access to the replays of our daily after party streams, as well as the uncut extended versions of our podcast, Discord access that's private, and a discount code for our merch store, only $5 a month. And ultimately, it's the best way to help us contextualize the gospel of Jesus using media, podcasting, and of course, YouTube. The link for that is in the description or in the pinned comment. The perks are amazing. You should get on there. It's only $5 a month. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.